Hi everyone, it's me Jack Wright, also known as Jack Pop Button Lewis on YouTube and Real Next Gen King Henry VIII on Instagram here, and most importantly, #1 British Six the Musical fan here, most importantly. And in part, of course, in relation to the upcoming episodes of Six the Musical, the 5 years anniversary UK Tour 2023, and also Six the Musical, the Royal West End Coronation Sing-Along 2023, which is coming up in the next few weeks and also of the few months of this year of 2023. You may, of course, know me for once again being a super fan of this very royal and historical musical. Well, I have been for a long time, but there might be a few other things you want to know a little bit more about me on why I love it so much. So, earlier on today, I got asked some questions on how much of a super fan I really am of, once again, Six the Musical. Hope you all enjoy! Well, to be honest, it's quite bizarre actually how I first came across Six the Musical for the very first time. Unbelievably, funny enough, I do actually have, I think, 2 people that were responsible for me discovering Six the Musical initially. And most importantly, obviously, this goes out to them if they're watching. Hi, Perry O'Brien, and also Bryony Rose. Of course, those 2 people who I found them on YouTube, and they obviously were they already knew knowledge and already went to see the show. I think when it first started, actually, at the Arts Theatre in London's West End, and that was obviously where the show was first done professionally with a professional cast. And I know I think they did have a little run, a short-lived run across the UK with the cast they formed when they put up the cast recording with in the studio, which they used initially, and then I think shortly afterwards, that's when they after that successful short run, they then eventually got a contract and run with, but obviously they had a few little changes to the cast at that time, but yeah, I remember, of course, I think, to be fair, like I said his name already, Perry O'Brien, I think, is responsible for me discovering Six the Musical, and I think thanks to him and once again Bryony Rose, they made me look into listen to the songs on the once again the Stereocast album recording, and I think it kind of just grew from there, really. I also, obviously, when I found out that I finally got the chance to see it for the first time back in 2019, I fully embraced, of course, what I'm doing right now, but obviously I'm sure you're going to ask maybe a question about that later on anyway, but no, that's how I first discovered, once again, Six the Musical. I think from the top of my memory, I think it might have been 5 years, because once again, like I said in the previous question, that 2019 was, I think, the first year that I ever saw or even heard about the show initially. And yeah, obviously, I, of course, done a load of things all related to it, especially over lockdown of 2020, which obviously happened 3 years ago. And yeah, and obviously, following on from that, I've been fortunate enough to I've seen many, of course, performances of it now, and especially I've, as I said already, yeah, it's quite remarkable how that it's been over, as I said, 5 years since I had become a fan of this very show. Oh, that is a good question. Well, as they're all unique for very different reasons, I think, honestly. But if I had to choose a favourite Queen and why from the show, I think for the pure laughs and like goofy moments, it has to be Anne Boleyn in Green. I think, you know, she has those moments where, you know, she, well, I mean, obviously very different to what Jane Seymour has as well. She's out with the dad jokes mostly, but I think obviously just because of the, you know, her background in the show as the character, she has loads of like quirky moments, and I think, you know, and also her song "Don't Lose Your Head" is quite of a bop as well. I know it became, I think, one of the first popular songs of the show alongside Ex-Wives and obviously the title, of course, song, that being Six as well. But yeah, that would be, once again, my favourite Queen would have to be Anne Boleyn. Oh my god! I can't believe that you had to ask that question. God, that is so hard. Oh my word. Well, to be fair, I mean, like I said, we're going back to for a favourite Queen in the show, but now favourite performer and I can only choose one out of the two in the West End and UK tour currently. Well, this is a hard one, honestly. And I'm not allowed to have any of the alternates and super swings either. Oh my god. Oh my word. This is a tough one. And I haven't even seen, because I know they've just had a cast change recently with the West End production and also the UK touring production as well. Oh, wow, goodness me. Well, I think if I had to decide one from the West End cast, I think it has to be, and well, to be fair, I know that she was very, very supportive and a wonderful person to meet as well, and I think, you know, her portrayal of the character of Anna Cleves in the West End production is just brilliant, and I would have to say Dionne Ward-Anderson from once again the UK, West End cast, sorry. And for UK tour, well, oh god, that's even a hard one, because I mean, I know they've just had a recent cast change, but I am planning to see them later on this year as part of the 5 years anniversary UK tour as well, and because I mean, I wasn't expecting them to do a cast change during that time when I last saw the show in Cambridge. Oh god. Well, I think because since I'm yet to see her, but I know that there's been a lot of love for her recently for playing Veronica Sawyer in the West End production of Heathers. I think it would have to be Erin Cordwell. I'm looking forward to seeing her portrayal of Jane Seymour in that production, because she's not the only Scottish person that I've seen her play that show, or that show role, as it were. Caitlin Tipping was one I remember seeing quite a while ago, and she came round, I think, almost from the same area, Edinburgh, as Erin did. So But there we go. Yeah, as I said. But if I had to go back to previous casts that also were there, no, just out of pure interest, I would say I absolutely love Millie O'Connell from the original West End cast, who I saw in the Hampton Court Palace performance, the Royal Reunion from last year. I just love her personality. She's so quirky, also very humorous, and she doesn't take herself too seriously. She's always up for a goof and a laugh, and I think that would be the same as well for Jennifer Caldwell as well, who played Anne Boleyn previously in the UK tour production as well. But also, yeah, as I said, I mean, I have a lot to thank for Mayor Quisonna Breed as well, of the original West End cast, as Catherine Parr, because she fully embraced when the first time I dressed up as Henry VIII, of course, for the first time I saw the show back in 2019. So it's hard, honestly. I mean, picking out favourites as of currently. As I said, that's what the ones that I have chosen there, but honestly, it's so hard to just pick one favourite out of, so many incredible casts in both the West End production and also the UK touring production currently, but well, that's the ones I'm have to go for there, unfortunately. Oh, well, as I was just mentioning it earlier on in the last question, God, it's really hard, because honestly, as much as I would give absolute credit to them both, Toby Marlowe and Lucy Moss, for writing some incredible, remarkable songs in this show throughout its whole legacy as a show, and I know they've obviously added few little bits in between, obviously, when it's been evolved over the years. But if I had to choose a favourite song and why, I think because since it has been used a lot and also been part of a load of performances outside of the theatre, like on TV and everything, but it's also very catchy as well, and it obviously encapsulates the show, what it is, with whoever plays the six queens on stage. They all obviously unite and have respect and support each other. I think it has to be Six, because it's also, as I said, the song is very catchy, and I know that the many casts of this show, not just over here in the UK, I mean here, but also all across the world now, as I've been hearing recently, is it's always it's like the anthem of the show, honestly. Like for it being, obviously, since it's the title of the show as well, Six, I mean, it's the signature song of the show, in my opinion, honestly, and yeah, I mean, nothing else could be said about that, really. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, to be honest. Oh my god, wow. Oh, what a question. Well, I have no idea, actually, to be honest. I mean, I've been very fortunate enough to have seen it, as I mentioned earlier on. One that really stuck out for me personally had to be the one at Hampton Court Palace, the Royal Reunion, to perform at the actual most famous royal historical palace of King Henry VIII himself. Because I had no idea it was actually used occasionally annually as a music venue as well, that they always have a festival there every year in the grounds and in the courtyard of Hampton Court Palace. But wow, my god, if ever considered, what would my favourite location for the show of Six the musical to be performed in the future? I think, well, I mean, just obviously with, how the show is formatted, like as a pop concert as well as a talent competition, I know already it's been recently performed at the AO Arena in Manchester for the National Lottery, big night of musicals. And I think that's the biggest turnout it's ever had, about 13,000 people. So it's already been performed in an arena. But, oh, wow. Well, I would have to say, though, since obviously, because it has been used as a music arena as well, and I think it's a lot more larger than the one, obviously, in Manchester. But I know, even though if it is for it being a sports stadium, I think Wembley Stadium, I think would be, I think that would be a pretty cool location to do a future show in the West End, and I can imagine 90,000 people in that. And I mean, I know obviously there's been some iconic moments in the world of sport that have been done there, but I think that would be quite nice to actually see it in the Wembley Stadium in the future. I hope you're listening there, Toby and Lucy. Try and get an organised performance over there if you can, there, guys. Oh, that's another good question. Well, I know I did say, obviously, when it comes to the moment where Catherine Parr, obviously, if you haven't seen the show, I won't try and give away too many spoilers to you, but when she tries to reason and also resolute with the other queens, then competing individually, but then when she tells the story about what happened in real life in her life as well, having to leave her future husband, of course, Thomas, I think it was Cromwell, from what I remember, and I remember that because with her song of I Don't Need Your Love, that obviously was part of it as well. And then when it came to the moment where they all find out about, they only were recognised just because of Henry being in their lives, King Henry VIII, they obviously were part of that. So they were actually robbed of their individuality as themselves. It was, and I think that's quite an empowering thing as well. As even though I'm a male of a male person and kind. I know that's obviously been a very empowering thing for loads of other people who may have seen the show, and I think that moment really stands out for me, and I think obviously loads of other people would agree with me on that as well. So yeah, that is my my best moment in the show. Oh my goodness! Oh, I can't believe you had to ask me that question. Well, oh my word, goodness me! There's been so many. I know. I think. Well, it is really hard to try and think of one that stands out from the rest of them, because I've been very fortunate enough actually to have had some amazing moments as a fan for seeing the show, especially with when I was recognised by Mayor Quansona Breed on the original West End production when I was dressed as Henry VIII, and I just remember her reaction when she took my phone and all of the other cast members were blowing kisses. Vicky Manser went "Hello Henners," which I thought was absolutely brilliant. And then when Mayor turned it around to her and just went, "Henry!" I just thought, oh my God, that is just brilliant. That memory will stick in my mind forever, honestly. But I think actually one that, I know that because I unfortunately didn't get video footage of it, but I think one that really sticks out for me had to be meeting Toby Marlowe as he just arrived, I think, to Hampton Court Palace for once again the Royal reunion production of once again with the reunion of the original West End cast queens in that show. and for also him to have come fresh from America as well, because I know him and Lucy, they managed to win a few Tony Awards for the success of their production on Broadway over in America at the time, before they came back to see the show back here. And once again dressing up as, of course, as my own take on Henry VIII, since I know he's not a character in the show, but also obviously thanks to the incredible idea that the current producer of the show, Kenny Wax, in the West End production at the moment, he has heavily inspired me to have done what I've done quite recently. And honestly, I think without him suggesting the idea of what if there were a character based off King Henry VIII in the show, even though that the entire show is completely told from the side of all of his 6 wives and also the ladies in waiting in relation to them as well. And Henry doesn't even have a single appearance in there. I've been obviously kind of responsible for doing that. Honestly, I have to say, there's been so many, honestly, but I think if I had to choose one, that most importantly really sticks out as, once again, my favourite fan moment from seeing the show. Oh my god. Oh, well, I had a feeling that kind of question would be coming up. Well, I think I do remember very well, as I mentioned to her earlier on, I think it was beautifully described by the amazing Jennifer Caldwell, who was part of the UK touring production, not just from recently when she just left just a few months ago, but also when she was there as an alternate initially, playing the roles of Anne Boleyn and also Catherine Howard. I think my words would have to be, as she amazingly said in her interview when she was cast as an alternate for the touring production, it would have to be fun, upbeat, with loads of heart. There you go. Fun, upbeat, with loads of heart. There you go. I made sure I spelled that right. So there you go. There's 6 there just to clarify that. But no, honestly, I can't get over how remarkable this show has been on my life, and thanks to this show as well. Most importantly, I think, because it was quite a remarkable moment just from last year when I was at MusicalCon and I managed to bump into Toby Marlowe again, and he'd done an amazing talk about how he got the idea for the show. The show has had such a huge legacy in just well, obviously I know that I mark 5 years, obviously, from last year of the original school production that was done by Cambridge University Theatre Society and Amateur Theatre Society from Cambridge University at the ADC Theatre, which I mentioned in the first episode of the first leg of the 5 years anniversary tour of the UK tour of 2023 of the show. And but honestly, I could go on and on and on, but I think, and you must be bored of me talking about it. I mean, I could talk for hours and hours and hours about this show, but like I said already, it is definitely been a show that has had a huge and positive impact on my life, and I am so thankful and so grateful for it to have lasted so long. And it's still going now as of today, and I'm so looking forward. Most importantly, I think also it has to be highlighted that I've made so many friends, and I'm sure most of them that might be watching now. So hi to all of you as well, who have also been following me, because obviously my once again my Six the Musical variation and cosplay of King Henry VIII has had a huge following since I'd done it, and it's obviously improved and evolved over the last few years, and honestly I am really looking forward to once again wearing it again to all of these upcoming shows of the show. And honestly, as I've said before, I could not be any more grateful and thankful for Toby and Lucy for writing. And even though it's their very first show that they've ever written together, and it's had such a huge tidal wave of success, even still now, and I hope it goes on for, once again, I would have to, I think, without no other things to say, I hope it goes on for, once again, a very long time. Well, thank you very much everyone for watching this Six the Musical theme video, and once again, if you have enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a like. Comment down below on your thoughts of some of the answers that I gave to some of the questions from earlier on in this video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button once again to my official YouTube channel of Jackpot Button Lewis, so you can keep up to date with future Six the Musical themed videos that will be up on my YouTube channel very soon. And don't forget also that if you are going to be heading to any of the future Six the Musical performances that I have mentioned once again in this video, don't be afraid to let me know once again on my social media platforms, once again of Real Next Gen King Henry VIII on Instagram and also on Twitter, also down as JBLP Official, and you can also find me out on there, and even once again on my official YouTube channel once again, which is Jackpot Button Lewis Productions. Well, thanks very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you once again at a future program, and I'll see you on a future program or, of course, show of Six the Musical in the near distant future. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.